Well, the wonderful thing about being a principal is each day is new.
From getting into classes to support teachers, working with students, scheduling.
And many of the daily challenges are unpredictable.
I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier to download onto our children what we want to see in the world. So, as you've noticed over the last 2 years, actually starting to scratch at well-being and how we can do that in the system, that's complex work. There's no silver bullets, there's no perfect models or frameworks for it. This is not a program. This is a philosophy of how to change culture in schools. And over the course of 2 years, we were given the opportunity to take this pilot project and in the first year, teach principals what it means to actually co-design solutions.
As I reflect on my journey, I recognize that the most difficult challenges we're facing are twofold. Number one, it's the complexity of the current mental health challenges that our students and staff are facing. And the second part is the sheer number that we're dealing with. Statistics show that more and more students are struggling with mental health challenges. That has to be the same for staff as well. How do I, as a school leader, support my staff and students to be well? The previous meetings that we've had really contributed to a deep understanding of the importance of relationship. It was a wonderful opportunity for all of us to collaborate, to discuss the challenges and joys that we are experiencing as leaders.
We always feel pretty good when we leave the building after a pretty good day of work, and maybe the opposite after a day where we face quite a few challenges. Being part of a group like this almost increases principals' efficacy to be able to do their job. You're part of a social network or a professional network, and so it's going to help you flourish at the role, which in turn is going to help your well-being.
Now, what's interesting about this kind of approach is people are unfamiliar with it in education because we like programmatic responses to complex problems. We like to buy stuff, we like resources, we like to see PowerPoint presentations, and we like to go step 1 through step 25 and then do a summative assessment at the end. This is completely not like that. This is taking each and every session when we meet, watching what's happening, looking at the players, looking at the power dynamics, looking at the tools we've used, and then constantly reevaluating whether or not that's actually going to get us to where we want to go. It's much more of what's called a developmental evaluation approach, where you're developing the evaluation tools as you're taking on the work.
I find it, and I'm sure many principals feel that, to balance being in classrooms, talking with staff, talking with students, being out at recess, jumping into the odd phys ed class and participating, balancing that with getting some of the things that are on your desk done. That's probably the biggest challenge that I face is managing that time.
Some things are predictable, some stresses are predictable, and some are not predictable. Especially as we talk about mental health and supporting students, the complexity has increased over the past couple of years. So that requires a lot more headspace, a lot more time to think through and connect with community members on how to support our kids best.
Principals, we can get in our offices and we have so many things to do, and you put your head down and grind through. Meeting with other people going through the same thing, building my social capital. I've got people now that I can text, I can call when I have a question that are on dealing with the same things every day that I do. Probably the biggest thing that I got from those 6 meetings.
It was great to hear the challenges of others. Some of them I had already experienced and could offer some advice. And some that I was experiencing, others were able to offer advice and to collaborate and give me some guidance and some wisdom.
We wanted the districts to sign on to something that would be like the project itself. Very interesting, very challenging, and somewhat out of the comfort zone for our principals. So we used what's called a 3-minute thesis. And the 3-minute thesis means you have to stand for something and show that you've researched and you believe in something, and you have to present it to your colleagues in 3 minutes of time.
My 3-minute thesis is titled Stronger Together, Harnessing the Power of Social Capital to Flourish as School Leaders.
We need to chase the right questions, not the right answers. The Mental Health in Schools project has allowed school leaders to talk about the barriers and challenges to finding joy in our calling.
We've got a program in our school called Peace. We've got all of our students in our school who are part of a color group. They're multi-graded groups. They have teachers. Every Friday for the last 2 periods of the week, or last 2 periods of the day, we do big school-wide activities.
If being generous can do all this, imagine what it can do for our staff and for our students and for our school leaders.
I think I've found what I want to share with you guys today. When I decided to join the Mental Health in Schools cohort this past fall, I did so knowing that I was struggling with my wellness, and I wanted to be better for my school and for my family.
As a new leader in Horizon this year, it was incredibly important to me to use each interaction with our principals as an opportunity to learn what they needed in that moment of interaction.
Figuring out how to improve well-being involves collaboration, it involves adaptation, it involves actually talking to the people and giving them a voice.
Being a school leader, being a principal is a wonderful calling, but it's also wonderfully challenging. And sometimes it's wonderfully difficult.
It's not the load you carry, but how you choose to carry it, right? And so what we've learned through this process that really as principals, we have a very similar load of tasks that we have to carry. And we have the power to choose how we carry it. So initiatives like this put us in touch with each other and build a strong network. It allows us to carry it together.
There are other principals experiencing the same thing who want to support and need support. And a program like this offers the support that we need to thrive as school leaders so we can support ourselves, our staff, our students, and our communities.
What we need now is very much a business-minded and entrepreneurial-minded approach to actually creating lots and lots of momentum within education, to look at what works within it, but then to actually use different styles of change so that we can change complex issues like mental health. And I won't go into all the other ones we have, but we have an opportunity to do it. We need good thinkers, we do need resources, and we do need the government to support this work. It's critical for the future of our kids.
We felt better leaving at the end of these sessions than when we walked in, almost every single time. And so that's the power of these types of programs. It's a different approach. It's really an assets-based approach where you're finding the strengths and leveraging them. And so, yeah, I knew when I went to these days, sometimes it was a challenge to schedule them in, but I knew it was worth it because every single meeting I left feeling better about myself and about my role as a principal than I did when I walked in.
As I look ahead to the future, seeing this program offered for other principals would be a great opportunity as we are welcomed into a space where it's a place where we can collaborate, where we can share the joys and challenges of being leaders and support each other through that. If we can continue the momentum that we've had in this program, we are going to make some great system change.